thank you so much for always coming around. Thank you so much for your time. I do not take it for granted. And I really want to apologize because last Tuesday I was supposed to make video, and which is this topic I'm discussing today, that's on relationship fear. But for some reason, engagement, I couldn't. Please just forgive me. Forgive me. I don't know if it happens to you, but sometimes you might really want to do something, but the day we just come in so jam packed, like more than you really expected, and you just notice that it has gone by and you're unable to do some certain things, especially if the engagements are things you know you cannot afford not to carry them out or not to get through with them. So I don't know if you get, but I know you get. I do. Yeah, so that's just the kind of situation. But I don't have reasons. I shouldn't be giving reasons for not coming or thereabout or thereabout. Please, I really do apologize. I'm so sorry for I'm so sorry for that. So so today we're going to be talking about the topic that's relationship fear. Yeah, relationship fear. Unfortunately, some persons have this fear, and some persons who actually have this fear don't really know that they do have this fear, and it's not something that's strange, right? It's not something that's strange because of lots of factors that can cause this fear, a lot of factors that can trigger this fear or make you have this fear or develop that kind of fear, even when you don't know, even when you don't really desire to be afraid of romantic relationship, right? And that is what we're going to be discussing today. But before we go into that, I want to say very big thank you to all my subscribers out there, and I really do not take your time for granted. I really value you a whole lot. And if you're new here, you're wondering what happens in this platform. Here we talk about relationship, that's romantic relationship, heterosexual, yeah, be it dating, courting, marriage, or whatever it is, as long as it has to do with relationship, romantic relationship, heterosexual, that's what we'll talk about in this platform. So, and you're welcome to always tune in to watch maybe during the live section. And if you can't tune in during the live section, you can always come back and tune in because the videos are already saved to the YouTube. So you can always pop in to see what's going on and what was shared and contribute your own idea as well in the comment section, or if you have question you can also put it down there in the comment section. So going back to what we have for today, when we talk about sorry, my throat, sorry. So when we talk about romantic relationship fear, like I said, it's been triggered by so many factors, and one of those factors that that can make some persons have this fear can be past traumatic experiences. That's when they've had some kind of nasty experiences in relationship. It's kind of becomes very difficult for such an individual to get over that feeling that is associated with that experience, and it takes time and even really dedication and discipline to get over that fear. It's not something that's easily gotten over, right? And if the person is not careful, the person can go into the next relationship with that fear. So past traumatic experiences put some persons in that fear. And when I'm talking about past traumatic experiences, I mean something like abandonment, that someone being abandoned, or maybe someone being betrayed. You're in a relationship and you thought you were really committed to him or you were really committed to her, and she was also committed to you, or he was committed to you as well, only for you to just notice that you were just being played at. I don't know if it makes sense. You were just being played at, and you notice that this person has another relationship that he or she really values, and is in fact the person has even gone ahead to get married to that person. Why the person you were thinking, okay, you both were having something serious, right? You both were having something serious. So that kind of betrayal can lead people to kind of stay away from or try to avoid or develop this fear or avoid romantic relationship. I do apologize for the repeated coughing. Sorry. All right, the next one is fear of vulnerability. There are certain people who don't feel very free to open up, like especially when you're, of course, you know, when you're in a romantic relationship, you're encouraged to always discuss anything with your partner, whether you're when you're dating, especially when the dating has gone past the preliminary stage, that initial stage, and it's now in a particular stage where you know that you both are now working towards marriage, and you both know that okay, you've said yes to each other and going into committed relationship. So at this point, you know that you don't just discuss, your conversations are not surface. It has to be deep. It has to, you both have to talk about something that is really, really deep. Plans of your family, the family you expect to have, and plans of the future, right? So, but you know, when someone has fear, I know, there was one time I had a lady that was like, she cannot really, she trust anyone. She cannot really trust any man or something like that. And you know that we might not know the story behind it, but the truth is something must have triggered her to have that fear. And at that point, she's afraid of being vulnerable. She's afraid of being vulnerable. And there are people like that. Maybe you're afraid of being vulnerable and you really don't want to open up, even though you are in such level of committed relationship, you still avoid some important conversations that you know you should naturally shy away from, right? Yeah. So, and sometimes that fear can be out of the fact that you don't want to be judged, right? You don't want a situation where the other person will end up judging you and judging you wrongly or not understanding you, or maybe you be in a position where the other person ends up walking away from the relationship and you lose the relationship entirely. So so many factors can lead to this vulnerability, people having fear, that's fear in the relationship of being open and transparent. So, and also when we talk about, sometimes too we get to understand that some of the reason where some of the causes of fear in the relationship can also be as well as when you have a low self-esteem. When someone has a low self-esteem, it's the person tends to feel not capable. The person tends to not have faith in himself or herself to build a healthy, lasting relationship. Yeah, because the person feel he or she is not worth it. He or she's not what someone loving, like truly and deeply and all of that, and he or she cannot sustain a deep relationship. So, and so many others. This just to mention but a few, but they are quite so many. So now we have identified some causes of relationship fear, that's romantic relationship fear. Or maybe I might not even have identified your own cause, but you just get to notice that you are having fear for romantic relationship. Like you were scared when it comes to, you love seeing people in a romantic relationship, you love seeing it, you love it, but you're walking into it, you're kind of scared because you, so many factors, maybe you don't believe that it's genuine, it's true, or maybe you don't believe, you believe it's true, but for you don't believe you can have that kind of relationship, or whatever the case is, right? So many factors can make you have that kind of fear. Or maybe someone who is from a family where there has always been repeated situation of divorce, and the person can, a child growing up in that kind of atmosphere, maybe you have grandfather divorce issue, parent divorce issue, maybe you also hear that it has also happened before in down the line, the lineage of the family. You can be scared of going into a committed relationship because you might feel maybe it's also going to end up that way for you. Yeah, you might have that doubt of having a healthy romantic relationship, and so many reasons can actually trigger it. But regardless of whatever causes is causing you that fear, or whatever it is that's instilled that fear on the inside of you. What are the ways which you can overcome? What are the ways in which you can overcome that fear you're having? The first step in getting over is not just even about the fear, but anything you hope to conquer, anything you hope to get over. The first step is for you to acknowledge it. You acknowledge that yes, I have this fear. Yes, I have this fear. Because if you have that fear for a romantic relationship, or you keep denying that, no, I don't have it, but you know that you try to avoid real relationship, committed relationship. Let me say, if you're a young lady and a young man is just a friend with you, you can just be flowing along the friendship, and you'll just be okay with it and be flowing along with the young man like normal friend, decent friendship. But whenever the young man maybe comes up with the idea of he's now interested to move into a deeper committed relationship with you, how do you feel? Is it something you feel withdrawn, like you feel like walking away from that young man, or you don't feel like continuing the relationship you have with that man? So if you notice that you feel like withdrawing, like it's not something that turns you off or turns you up or make you feel uncomfortable, then it's a signal that you've got a relationship fear. So it's very important that you acknowledge that you've got it. You've acknowledged. Don't try to give reasons to maybe he doesn't have, he's not my kind of guy, he's not I'm not ready now, or whatever excuses. As much as you shy away, because even though you're not ready, if someone should make such attempt or say make such move towards you, you're not going to avoid that person. Rather, you might let the person appreciate that intent and let the person know you value it, but for now you're not ready to go into such a commitment. So, but it's not something you feel withdrawn or happy about, or something turned up for, or trying to cut off that relationship. No, it's not something you need to do that if you don't have that fear. So if you see yourself approaching it in a negative way, it suggests that you have that fear. So it's very important to acknowledge it first, because without acknowledging it, you cannot work towards getting over it. So once you have acknowledged the source of your fear, the next thing is to that's once you have acknowledged, then the next thing is for you to identify ways on which you can get over that fear. Identify. Let me take for example, like I gave the instance of a lady who is afraid of, who doesn't want to be vulnerable. Like even though she's in a committed relationship, she doesn't want to be vulnerable. Maybe based on her previous experiences, which anyone might also be in that state if the person have experienced what she has experienced. So, but such a lady is at that state that's not healthy, because it will prevent her from moving forward in her life as a person and also in her relationship, right? So, when I say in her life as a person, because it will make her withdraw from real potential great relationships that need moving forward in, because if you're not open, the other person of course will notice it, and this is preventing you from breaking through that stage in your life when it is necessary that you move over, right? And you'll be having some kind of, it's really gonna keep you backward. So it's, if for such kind of a person who is scared of being vulnerable due to any reason or whatever, then what you have to do, I'm just taking that for an example, yours can be different. So but when you identify, acknowledge you have that fear, the next thing is to identify how to get over that fear. So using that as an example, what the lady can do is to practice, that's gently to be vulnerable with some little things, like some not really deep things, but certain things that she knows that she wouldn't have discourse, but they are not really very deep or confidential like that. She might start with that, and when she's trying to communicate that, she let that person know this is how she feels about it, and she's discussing this in trust, right? So once she starts with that gradually, and of course if she's staying with the right partner, with the right suitor, they then suited to be whoever, the person definitely will encourage her to be free, and that fear of being judged or that fear of whatever, she will see that it's not really what she thinks, because she's with the right person. All right, so it's to practice being vulnerable gradually, and over time you will know, you start discussing more deep situation, more deep confidential issue with that your significant with your significant other. Sorry. Yeah, so the next one here is you have to for anyone who's having low self-esteem, you have to learn to build your self-esteem. Building your self-esteem is not something that you have to do. It's not something marriage will do for you, right? I know that it's okay when you have great tutor, or the person can also help you and encourage you to be who you are. It can really help to some extent, but the truth is most of your self development, most of your personal development depends on you. Like, if I should say, let me say 70-80% of it. Do you understand? So, what your suitor, what your partner can do is to support you in a journey, but you are the one driving the boat. You are the one driving the boat. So what I want to encourage you is, if you notice that you have a low self-esteem, it's more like you need someone, an external validation for you to feel okay in yourself, or you feel you're not what love, you're not what you feel, you doubt your ability to sustain a healthy, lasting relationship with God, you doubt your ability to do that with God, then you know that you've got low self-esteem. So it's something you need to work on. It's something you need to work on. How do you work on this? Yeah, someone might be asking, how do I work on this? You work on it prayerfully. Yes, you work on it prayerfully. There is nothing you cannot talk to God about. Yes. So if you're having the kind of challenge that you're finding it, you feel low in yourself, you start by talking to God about it. And you also look for helpful resources. You can also look for helpful resources, that's book and listen to talks and things that help in boosting your self-esteem, to help you build. There are lots and lots of helpful material out there. I might not recommend any right now, but I'm sure if you should go online, you can search for them, and I'm sure you can find so many. By going through the books, going through the reviews, you will know which author is really highly recommendable, and you can start from there, right? So the next one is, be open in your relationship. Like just like I mentioned earlier, talk to your partner about whatever fears you're having. That's if you were in a committed relationship, like you're dating someone and you know it's more committed, it's committed now, you both are heading towards marriage. Don't try to act perfect. No, don't try to act perfect. Don't try to avoid being like you're perfect. What you're working on yourself, you're someone who is working on yourself. But whenever you have anything, any flaws or anything that you think is necessary to be communicated, don't try to quote it. It's a very important thing that I think during dating phase, most of the singles they fall, most of the singles, I think they fall victim to this, because you try to appear perfect, you try to be exceptional, like you just try to hide any side of you that you might not really be proud of. But truly, that's not the best. That's not the best. So even as much as you're working on yourself to become the best version of you, please ensure to also be you, be real. Try to let that person know that aspect of you that you are still working on, that you are not really very proud of. Be open, be very open. It helps. What your fears are, what your concerns are, and what that thing is. Let the person know. If the person chooses to stick by you, then you know you've got the right person by your side. And it's not something that the person is going to be disappointed on the long run, or maybe getting into marriage, the person get to see some weaknesses, because everyone has weaknesses. So even as much as you notice the other person, the other person's you might not notice the other person, there's a you might not notice the other person's weakness, doesn't mean that there is no weakness there. There is something you need to build on. There is something you need to keep building on. It must be something. The weakness I'm saying here mustn't be negative. It mustn't be negative, right? Let me say, if you're someone that you what do I use? What do I use an accent as an example? You might be someone that the weakness here, let me say, for some other person, someone might consider you being too overly apologetic as a weakness. Let me say, you do something, you can apologize 100 times, or maybe you do something, you don't apologize, but you feel remorseful, but you don't have that courage to go on to apologize. Someone can consider that a weakness. But does it really mean it's a bad thing? It's not good actually, but as long as you feel remorseful and you're working towards doing it well, it cannot be, you won't say you're categorizing that as a very bad attribute, even though it's not good. I don't know if you get it. So when we say weakness here, it doesn't mean like it's something that is so bad, it's sinful. No. So the only thing now, if you feel that way, you can know that whenever you do something wrong, for example, you feel remorseful about it, and you feel hurt that you did something that offended some other person, or that's this way, or that's not really okay, and but you struggle with going ahead to let that person know that you're sorry about this. So when you let that person know that is a weakness and you're working towards getting over it, what does that mean? Is gradually you notice that you try to apologize whenever you do something wrong. You try to apologize. Maybe if on it from the start you might not apologize immediately because you're starting up something that you're weak at. You might not apologize immediately. Maybe it's after some time you apologize. But the main thing is that as you consistently try to work on that version of you notice that you'll be quick to, once someone is not okay with it, it will be easy to say, I'm sorry about this. Or maybe if you say so much, I'm sorry, that you feel self-guilt and you're unable to forgive yourself and know that this person has forgiven you, you keep apologizing repeatedly because you feel you're guilty still about it. You work on yourself to know that I've apologized and this person has forgiven me, and this person said there's no problem. I don't have to bother about it. All I need to do right now is to work towards not allowing that happen again, and you forgive yourself because you're human. So I don't know if this is making sense. So there is something that everyone is working on. It mustn't be something negative or something, but be open about that thing to your partner. All right. And finally, I will be sharing here is to seek professional help. Seek professional help. Sometimes some persons, you might have something really deep you really want to communicate with somebody. Yeah, and if you have a friend you can communicate that to, you can confine that to. Please meet your friend. If you have a family that you trust, you can confine some certain issues with. Please discuss with your family. But in a situation where you know that you cannot really confine that thing with your friend or with your family because it's really not going to be helpful, then seek professional help. Seek professional help. So I really hope you were able to benefit something from this video. And don't forget, I'm a counselor, so you can always reach out if you chose to. You can always reach out to me. I'm always willing to help. And the way of reaching out to me can always be seen below, right, through my website and all of that. But it mustn't be me actually. You can always reach out to anyone you know, you trust, any professional that you could reach out to. But I will be pleased to also have you come around. All right, I hope you were able to benefit from this video today, and thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to give it a like, and if you found it interesting, please, beyond giving it a like, also share it to your platform. Share it. It will help get it to other of your contacts. You never know who it could help. And also hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed yet, if you hope to be receiving content, so that whenever I make uploads, you're going to be aware I've made upload. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you on Thursday. Please, till then, always remain safe. Take care. Bye.